Welcome to the Ranch Sitdown. My guest today, one of the pillars of the Texas music scene. So many of his songs have just become anthems. Ladies and gentlemen, Josh Abbott.
She's as free as blue bonnets in the summer, and she's as hot as the Padre Island sun. And most of the time she's warm and friendly, like the hills that surround Austin. And she's as bright as a Dallas sky. She always holds her head up high. She loves the company of her family. And she has faith in God's greater plan. She trusts I'm a good man. That's why I'll always believe. Yeah, she's like Texas, and she likes me. Her eyes are green like the trees in Nacogdoches, and her teeth are white as cotton in the fall. Yeah, when she laughs, you'll always take notice, 'cause her heart's charm will shine right through it all. She's as bright as a Dallas sky. She always holds her head up high. She loves the company of her family. And she has faith in God's greater plan. She trusts I'm a good man. That's why I'll always believe. Yeah, she's like Texas, and she likes me. Her moods can change like the weather out in Lubbock. But if you show her love, man, she'll return it. She's as bright as a Dallas sky. She always holds her head up high, and she loves the company of her family. She has faith in God's greater plan. She trusts I'm a good man. That's why I'll always believe. Yeah, she's like Texas, and she likes me. Yeah, she's like Texas, and she likes me.
Very nice. Josh Abbott, how are you, buddy?
I'm good.
Man,
Voice
good.
is a little tired and sore. So I kind of sang that and phrased that a little bit different, but I dig it that way too.
I like that, though.
Yeah,
That's
it's just kind
cool.
of an older, more mature version of that song than when I would have done it in my 20s, right?
So let's go back to like when you recorded that song.
Yeah.
You're in the studio and it finally gets all mastered, and the first time you get to hear it, do you know?
Man.
Like, were you aware of what was going to happen?
You know, I sure was cocky back then.
Weren't we all, though?
So I probably had this false sense of confidence in it. But if I'm being honest, I definitely don't think that it would have been as big as it has been, right? Like, I remember a few years ago, one of those morning talk shows, the one that's real famous with like Michael Strahan and some other people.
Yeah.
They had a deal one morning where they were having people guess the most popular wedding song in different states.
Mm-hmm.
And, they'd do Florida and New York and California, and it was pretty predictable, very famous songs, right? And then Texas got everyone because it was She's Like Texas. It was the number one wedding song in Texas for like a decade plus. And they were like, who?
You're like, yes.
Yeah, I was just laughing. I didn't even care. I get it. But yeah, I didn't think it would be that big.
Mm-hmm.
I knew that it would appease the listeners that at the time we were cultivating, being the Texas country crowd, and especially at that time frame, a lot of females under 30, under 25. And I knew that it would relate. But yeah, it ended up being something so much bigger, because it not only has been so many first dances, but a lot of father-daughter dances.
Yeah.
Which has been really cool. And it just has created so many stories and connections with people over the years. It's, it's just one of those silly songs that I wrote, probably has some flaws in it, but there's just something really relatable to the song.
Absolutely.
And it's been a huge part of our career.
It is definitely a song that relates to a lot of people in different ways, like you said.
Donahue and Wade and those guys, they give me a lot of hell for saying Blue Bonnets in the summer. And I'm like, and I totally deserve it. I totally do. It's such a stupid line. But, when I wrote that song, I was living in Lubbock. That's where I was from. And we don't have blue bonnets there. I'm not a flower expert.
Right.
I thought they grew in the summer.
I mean, tumbleweeds in the summer don't have the same effect.
I knew they grew in the spring, but I just assumed they were in the summer too. And then we released the song, and I started catching hell for it. And still to this day, like Jack Ingram, Walt Wilkins. The amount of people who have given me crap for that song, it's just unbelievable. But I kind of deserve it. It is what it is.
Next time Donahue gives you hell, remind him in Stockyards. He says corner of North and Main.
I know.
That's not a street.
I've told him that before, and he's just like, whatever.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, it is fine. Obviously, if we ever do a live album, which we have never done, which is weird, but
really,
I'll probably change the lyric to Blue Bonnets in April. Try to redeem myself.
Right? Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So when you first started writing songs, did you imagine this was going to be a career, or was it just try to pick up girls?
Well, when
when
you first start doing it, you're definitely doing it because you're just kind of obsessed with the art of it, but also it's kind of cool to get some attention.
Yeah.
Let's be honest, a lot of us are narcissists, and most of us probably weren't that cool growing up. So it's kind of this like fun, unique way of people like kind of like digging you for the first time ever. It sure wasn't because I was good at sports. And so, yeah, I think there was that element for sure when girls start being like, "Oh, you're good at this." I'm like, "Well, let me learn another song then." But then I think as you really start to dive into it, you really become in love with the actual art of it and writing songs and learning what a bad song is, and then getting excited about a song and a gig, and then just kind of building it from there. And I kind of made a deal with myself that if I wasn't making at least a teacher's salary within 5 years of doing this, that I would stop.
Yeah. Yeah.
And luckily for me, that happened quicker than that. And so it's allowed me to chase this dream for literally, I started my band with my college fraternity brothers in February or March of 2006. So it's been 20 years now. We started putting out music in like 2008 and touring, but, we actually started and playing frat parties in the Blue Light in 2006. And so it's kind of crazy to be like, damn, 20 years later.
Isn't that wild?
Yeah.
Was there ever a thought of a different career early on?
I don't know. I think early on, whenever I decided to do this, I was gung ho. I was like, I'm going to make this work. If this hadn't worked, I would have. I ended up finishing grad school anyway, but I would have used my degree to probably get some sort of communications or business development type role in the oil and gas energy industry or something along those lines. Is probably what would have happened, and probably would have been a fine life. Making X amount of dollars a year working in oil and gas and living in Midland and getting laid off every 10 years because gas prices go down, and then getting rehired again. And I'm sure my life would look just so much different, but I'm very grateful it went this way.
So is there one of those songs from early in your career that still means a lot to you personally?
Oh, for sure. For sure. I mean, I think Electric Skies is still one of the coolest songs I've ever recorded, and I did that acoustic on the very first demo we ever put out. That little 4-song self-titled EP.
Yeah.
I think that song's badass still. You stumble on one early on, maybe that's what shows the promise, and it shines through the crappy ones, because I could list you a bunch of songs from our first couple albums that I look back on with like, ugh, that was not that good, to be honest.
Yeah.
But it is what it is. And Oh Tonight, shoot, Oh Tonight is an all-timer. I freaking love that song.
It's as well, yeah.
One of the most successful songs in Texas country history, and has such a cool backstory with writing it, and then obviously getting to feature Casey on there, and then our careers kind of both blowing up, and it's like a really cool story. So that one will always be, near and dear to my heart. I never get tired of singing that one.
It's one of the coolest stories we get to tell as a radio station of how we had Casey Musgraves at a ranch bash, and they're like, "What are you talking about?" It's like, man. Josh Abbott brought her on stage to sing.
It's crazy.
In a giant parking lot in the middle of Fort Worth, Texas.
Yeah, and opening was probably Maren Morris.
Yeah.
I mean, literally, she opened for us one time at the ranch thing here in Fort Worth. So I'm just like, how crazy is that? You just really never know.
You never do. You've been a part of this Texas music scene for a while now. What does the scene mean to you now compared to when you first started?
There's such an appreciation for it now, because you recognize how extremely unique it is. I think, when we first started, obviously, I knew what Texas country was, but now being older, I realize how super unique it is. We have an infrastructure and this cultural feature that no one else has.
Yeah.
I mean, there are small versions of it when you look at maybe the indie rock scene in the Pacific Northwest, and, maybe some of the California grunge scene in SoCal. And, obviously there's some jazz hotspots in Chicago, New Orleans, and, we could keep going on and on, but the Texas country thing's crazy. You can make a living and not leave Texas or Oklahoma.
Never leave the border, yeah.
I mean, you could just play in Texas, but you get a lot of opportunity in Oklahoma as well because of the red dirt marriage, right? And so it's crazy. You're right. It's its own radio system. It's its own chart. It's its own genre. Yeah. And people would not even know who you are in Virginia or Kentucky, and you're a very successful singer-songwriter, artist in the Texas country scene, making a great living and touring to fans and having a ton of Spotify listeners. It's really mind-blowing, to be honest.
What's kind of cool, though, is you can do that show in Virginia where nobody knows who you are, but they want to come see you because you're from Texas.
Yeah, and there's that too.
Everybody wants to be a part of Texas and know about Texas.
It's unique. You couldn't get away with it if you were like Kentucky country.
Right.
And I mean that with all respect, because if there's another state that has churned out so many amazing artists, Kentucky is
absolutely
on top of it, right? But they don't have a touring scene like we do. They don't have their own chart. It's not a cultural thing where they sing songs like She's Like Kentucky.
Right.
God, she's lucky. I mean, I don't know. That's so cheesy.
If somebody does, you need to sue, though.
Right.
Wait a minute.
It's just like, it's crazy. I think sometimes we take it for granted. And if you really look at the entire world, this flat earth we live on, just kidding. I don't know. But
good to see you again, Josh. Have a great day.
CIA swoops in.
Right.
But, if you look at the entire world, like, where else is there this super cool subgenre of music that has its own machine that feeds itself and monetizes itself and is supported by an entire, state?
Yeah.
It's pretty rare.
It really is. Do you remember who, some of the first Texas artists were that you thought, hey, I can do that too?
Oh, no doubt, man. No doubt. I mean, the first artist I were exposed to in the Texas country scene was Cooter Graw.
Yes.
My mom bought their CD at a garage sale when I was in high school and gave it to me. And I was like, that's pretty cool.
Wow.
These guys are cool. This sounds great. Never heard them on the radio.
Yeah.
Well, it's because they weren't on the radio, right? At that time, Texas country didn't really get a lot of love anywhere outside of a few stations.
A few independent stations.
Yes, very much. And so, especially growing up in Lubbock, there was no exposure to that stuff.
Yeah.
You know, and then, you know, slowly learning about Pat Green and Robert Earl Keen and Jerry Jeff Walker. I dated a girl who was obsessed with him, and so that really opened my eyes to all of his stuff. And of course, then you start recognizing the influence he had on Pat Green, and then the influence he had on me. I mean, him and Randy Rogers and Wade specifically. I think the three of those guys, they're like my biggest influences. I'd kind of tell people. I told someone the other day in an interview that I guess if I had to summarize my music and style, I'd be somewhere between Pat and Randy.
Yeah.
I don't know, somewhere in there. And
it's not a bad place to be, though.
No, not at all, man. Those guys are buddies now, too, which is cool. They went from being guys I listened to and went to their concerts to becoming mentors and now friends, you know.
That's wild. What's the biggest change you've seen in the Texas country scene over, like, the last decade?
Well, I mean, obviously, the expanded growth of it. You know, I think, you know, being on a radio format here, I want to be careful about how I approach it, but the DSPs have globalized as well as the internet, right? And your station in particular being on top of that online radio presence years and years ago, right? I mean, I remember
that really helped us.
Yeah, 10, 15 years ago when people overseas that were stationed were able to still listen in, right? And I think that, you know, has caused the genre to really grow because there's always been something super relatable about the music, right?
Yeah.
It's been it's like, for the most part, it's way less produced and it's just way more real.
Yeah, absolutely.
There's something authentic to it. Now, the songs about Texas in particular, those songs and those artists haven't necessarily grown on a national or global level like the way the others do that have the same sound but maybe don't emphasize Texas or Dallas or Austin, right? Like I do. But if you just look at the way the world has embraced, you know, not just Kojo, who's just a machine of his own, right? Just an incredible singer and artist, but you know, Parker. But then you look at Co and Treaty Oak and what they do is more Texas rock. It's more like Toadies, but then it is Pat Green, but still comes from the same era and origins of influence, right? At times, you know, Co used to, you know, grew up at LJT. And then you look at, you know, obviously what Parker's done and translated to, and Turnpike, you know, their ability to make that music work nationally, and there's so many more. Flatland Cavalry, I mean, I got to mention those guys are some of my best friends. They're in New Zealand and Australia right now on tour with Lainey Wilson.
It's crazy.
With Caitlin.
Yeah.
That right there is a microcosm of how this genre has grown. Like, it's incredible.
That's the thing is and Lainey could have anybody she wanted to open for her. Totally. Let's be honest.
Totally.
And that's who we got.
Like they're not on the same label. They're not on the same management group. It's just amazing that she chose them to go on that tour. And it's expanding and growing their fan base. And, you know, how great for Flatland is that? Some of the sweetest humans. Love those guys. They're like little bros to me.
Yeah.
And, of course, we have panhandlers. Half those guys are in panhandlers. And so we have such a unique connection. And what's really cool about that, too, is, you know, let's say they grow these fans now playing in New Zealand and Australia. Well, those fans are streaming them on Spotify or listening online to the ranch. And they're discovering bands that are similar in sound. Like, right? Like I just discovered Josh Weathers. Oh, I just discovered John Bauman.
Yeah.
Or William Clark Green. Or the Panhandlers. And now all of a sudden, maybe Flatland Cavalry in 2 years goes back to New Zealand and Australia, and maybe we get to go open for them. Yeah. Or maybe not, but maybe another Texas act gets to go. And you're just really seeing in a real time, like the story of Texas country is in a globalizing chapter right now.
It really
is. It's really cool to be a part of that.
A lot of younger Texas artists that are blowing up right now. Who are some of your favorite in the of the young guys and gals?
Man, well, define young. I feel like everybody's younger than me now these days. You know, I still feel young at times when I'm around some of the older guys, but then I start hanging out with the younger guys. I'm like, Jesus.
I am not young anymore.
I'm not going out past midnight. Are you crazy? You know, you'd have to help me out with some names of younger guys, but I mean, there's so many. Like Braxton Keith seems to really have a vibe. He has such a good handle on social media. You know, him and his team are so on top of it. And recently I started listening to an artist, and he's actually from Oklahoma.
Mm-hmm.
And I want to get his name right because that this is just so me to mess this up. But Josh, oh my gosh, I was just listening to him the other day. Josh Malloy.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. I love Josh Malloy. He's fantastic.
Well, that's not professional of my phone to play out there. So there we go.
So,
So yeah, Josh Malloy was a
Yeah.
name that, recently discovered. And I haven't poured myself into a lot of their catalogs just yet. Just been busy, but I know that Randy is really big on those three young guys.
yes.
I think
Cameron Albright.
Cameron
Hank
Albright,
Weaver,
Ashton Naylor, and Hank
Naylor.
Weaver.
Yeah.
Yes. I've heard them live,
Yeah.
and I think they're all really sharp. I think
Mhm.
there's something really cool about the three of them in a way. It kind of reminds me of like this, we're seeing now what people saw 20 plus years ago when they would go to acoustic shows that had Randy, Wade, and Stoney,
Yeah.
or Stoney, Boland, and Cody,
Yeah.
right? You had a vibe.
Mm-hmm.
And I think, what is the saying, like the high tide lifts all ships, or whatever
Mhm.
the saying is. I think you see that a lot, when guys come up and there's a real camaraderie to it.
Yeah.
And I think it won't surprise me if all three of those guys are really successful as well. And I'm probably missing some more young artists that I definitely don't mean to miss.
It's hard to keep up, honestly. There's
There's-
a lot of really talented young artists
There's
that
so
are coming
many.
up, and they're 18, 19 years old.
There's so many. It's crazy. I started working with a group recently named Down Hazy.
Mhm.
They're a bunch of fraternity and sorority kids that have a band
Mhm.
at UT, but they got it. They're fantastic. They've recorded a bunch of great music,
See, that's cool.
and we're about to release their first single in the next month or so. And I'm just kind of mentoring, managing them for now, and just seeing where it goes. But they're awesome. And yeah, you're right. There's just so many great young acts coming up, and there's also just a ton of ways to be exposed. Again, it's not like the old guy on a hill, but like when I was trying to get discovered and known 15 years ago, it was either radio or bust your ass playing as many shows as possible.
Mhm. Open for whoever you could.
Anywhere,
Yeah.
right? And now it's just so different. It's like
Now you
people
just get
get
on
famous
TikTok
on
and be a
TikTok,
star, yeah.
YouTube,
Mm-hmm.
different apps that probably I don't even know exist, TV shows.
Yeah.
And now you just see an abundance of artists. And I think there's probably too many, if I'm being honest. And I think the music scene is feeling that. It's a congested market
Mm-hmm.
with people who have X amount of followers, which, inherently seems to imply that they're worth X amount of tickets,
Which is not true.
which is
We've
not
learned.
true.
Yeah. We have
And I think we're in a learning curve there too. And I think it's really impacting the live scene.
learned.
And I think there's a lot of venues that are hurting right now because, artists, and especially new young artists, are asking for way more money than they used to. Dude, if a young artist now puts a song on whatever and gets 500,000 streams, they're not coming to your bar for $5,000.
Mm-mm.
They want $25,000 guarantees, and then
Mhm.
their crowd's young and they're not drinking.
Yeah.
And a lot of people drink less now anyway because we're
Yeah.
becoming more health conscious about
Right.
alcohol. So here I am ranting, and I'm really not trying to at all. It's just more of discussion of what the current climate of what we do looks like. And
Yeah.
there's a lot of talent, and that's wonderful, but it is a very crowded industry right now. And, it's interesting as an older artist trying to navigate those waters and
Yeah.
just keep up,
It
because
is.
I'm not the new, young, hot band that everybody is like, oh my God, we all have to go see that band. I'm the older band now that people have probably seen. And that sense of familiarity, what's the old saying? Like, what's the old saying about familiarity? I don't remember. I'll remember it before this podcast is over.
Right.
But it just causes people to care less.
Yeah. That's
Right.
true.
That's why season 7 of most TV shows don't succeed as much as seasons 2, 3, and 4.
Right.
And it just is what it is. It's how we are.
You just recently released a couple of singles, so everybody thought, "Oh my God, he's bringing out new music already." But this is like some stuff you held. I heard you talking about this a little earlier before we started this. This is stuff you held back a while.
Yeah, we recorded those songs in 2015 for the Front Row Seat record, but we just had so many songs.
So wild.
And I didn't want to put out 20-something songs, so we saved some. And then from that batch of songs we saved, I really loved those two the most.
Mm-hmm.
And I remember saving them at the time, being like, these are radio-friendly, great songs. And if we put them on this record, they're going to get buried. Because at the time, we were promoting Wasn't That Drunk and then and Amnesia. And we knew with the way the radio game was played, especially on a national level, that you had to work a single for a year. And I could go on all day about that.
Yeah,
I hate it.
I absolutely detest
Me
that.
too. Thank God in Texas country, it moves faster than that. But we knew, so, okay, if we were push these two songs, we're going to be a year and a half to 2 years in. We're not going to get a third, fourth, fifth single. So I saved them. And then we decided that instead of putting them out at the 5-year anniversary in 2020, we decided to put them out at the 10-year anniversary. So last year in the fall, we put those two songs out to celebrate the 10-year mark of that record. And and you know, Even Girls Like You has been really fun and energetic for the live show. And sounds a lot sonically like obviously some of those songs from that old record.
Yeah.
And then Selfish now kind of being the new single. You know, it's new to fans. They're like, oh, wow, this sounds just like old school Josh. Well, that's because it is.
Well, it was.
We recorded it 11 years ago. It's just brand new to you. And I think that's cool. I don't think fans care.
Got to be hard to hold on to songs like that.
But I will say
long.
it's probably the last mainstream radio Texas hybrid song that you'll hear from us.
We were talking about that before we started, too. You guys are
this will be the end of an era.
Not kind of changing direction a little bit. I mean, it's still country music. It's still Texas country music.
Yeah, we're not shifting.
Sonically, it's going to sound a little bit different.
Yeah, I just want to do less produced stuff moving forward. Maybe that's just me getting older as an artist. Maybe that's me just being like, we already have our catalog.
Yeah.
And when we go record, and I've talked to other older artists, I don't want to name them on here, but like I've talked to a lot of older guys in Texas country and even in mainstream country too. Like, you know, you get to like album 5, 6, and like people have their favorite songs, and it becomes really difficult to get them to listen to new music.
Yeah.
And it becomes really difficult to grow a brand new audience when you become an older artist. Some people are fortunate enough and strategic enough, and maybe just lucky enough that they're able to do that, but it's hard. And so I just think to myself, like, if I'm going to record an album, I want to, it's just got to be something that I want to put out that I love. And if I love it, our fans will love it. And we're probably only going to play a couple songs from the new record in our live show anyway, because again, I've got to play She's Like Texas and Oh Tonight and Taste and Touch and all these other songs. That's what we do. And if we don't play those songs, that's unfair to the fans who come to hear those songs. And so there's just a real balance at this point of our career where it's, you know, I just want to be selective about what I go record. And so I think the next stuff we do, it's just going to be less produced, you know, and I don't know who to compare it to per se, but I just think it's going to be more of a real raw sound where you don't hear 12 different instruments on a song and a ton of layers. Like maybe it's just me and a harmonica and a cajon and a fiddle or a bass.
It sounds like it's just more about the lyrics.
Yeah, and I think I'll be more attentive to that too. I'm not trying to write like super hooky love songs, even though I do have some. I probably will play one here in a minute.
There's nothing wrong with that.
Because I do have some songs that I really dig, but I think the way we produce them and approach them will be different, right? It's just going to be a little different. I mean, don't worry, nothing's changing too much, but I just think like I don't need to record another Touch. I don't need to record another She's Like Texas. I just want to record something else that's different, that feeds my soul, and allows us to keep doing what we do for a living.
Right. If you could go back in time, got a time machine, go back in time, before Josh Abbott got on the blue light stage the very first time, what piece of advice would you give that young Josh Abbott?
Don't drink so much. You know, I definitely didn't abuse it as much as some other guys have.
Oh, yeah.
And so I don't want to like pretend I was on that level, you know, but it just obviously impacts your ability, you know, to have the proper conversations and not put yourself in certain positions, make better decisions, sing better. I mean, I just look back at all those shows in those first 7 years that we played, 6 years anyway, and just how reliant I was on drinking bourbon to get on stage and then, you know, thank God we didn't live in a TikTok world we do now.
Right.
Because there were a lot of shows I probably didn't sing that great because I was hammered and I thought I was singing awesome. Thought I was a rock star.
Right.
But we've all seen the videos of people who are drunk singing on stage.
That think they're doing great.
And they're not.
Yeah.
And a lot of us have battled that, and that is the story as old as time and music, right? I mean, we've seen it since Johnny Cash and probably Hank Williams, right? And before, like, for whatever reason, we all go through this stage, a lot of us anyway. And so I would just be like, just chill out on the booze.
Yeah.
Because if you're drinking way less, you're not being as cocky. You're performing better shows. You're more presentable to fans and meet and greets after the show.
Absolutely.
And, you know, there's some other things that I really don't want to get into that alcohol, you know, caused problems in my life. But, yeah, I would say chill out on the booze. And that's what I would tell any young act now. Like, if you're relying on that now, you're going to have a lot of problems.
Absolutely,
I would chill out on it.
Is there a song that you wish from another artist you wish you had written? What's that song?
Oh, man. A great question. On the fly. What song has made the most money? Cruise, Florida Georgia Line? I'm just kidding.
I need that mailbox money.
Yeah, I mean, Chase Rice, actually, the artist, you know, the song, he's an artist, Chase Rice. He was the primary writer on that song, so.
He's probably doing okay.
He's doing all right. I don't know. I'd really have to think about that because there's obviously just so many songs that have been incredible over the years. So what a great question that is. I don't know. I don't know how to answer that.
That's a tough question.
That is a really, really great question. I'll tell you, William Clark Green's Lubbock is such a cool song. And that might not be the answer people look for.
That's a great song.
But when he wrote that and sent it to us, I thought it was going to be a Panhandler song.
Oh, did you really?
And then he was like, no, I'm going to keep this for myself.
And
I was like, oh my God, not only am I mad that you wrote a cool song called Lubbock, but now I don't even get to be a part of it. Yeah, I'd have to really think about that other question. So that's a good one. You caught me off guard on that one.
It's a random talent that you have that has nothing to do with music.
A lot of sports trivia.
Really?
Yeah.
That's your thing.
I've just cared so much, too much about sports since I was a kid that I used to just memorize statistics and where guys were from and where they played high school and college ball and when they were drafted and by whom and the stories behind the stories and all that stuff. I've just always really loved sports. And so I won't lie to you, over the last 5 years, I've probably slipped a little because my focus is being a dad.
Right. Yeah.
And I don't even have time to watch every game I want to watch and pay attention to stuff. But definitely, I think people will be shocked at my ability to like recall information in sports.
What's the kids show that you're watching the most now with the kiddos?
Oh man, good question. We don't watch it. Really don't watch a ton of TV. And as far as the kids go, my daughter's 8.5, my son's 5.5. So their interests are a little bit different when they do watch something. So a lot of times we just watch movies together, and that's just a way we can relate. Most recently, a movie came out called David.
Yeah.
Been a big hit at our house, and it's a safe movie to let the kids watch at that age.
That's the hardest thing to find now is safe family movies.
It is. Because, we don't have to get into politics of it all, but it's just like, no matter what your politics are, I just think there are some things that kids don't need to hear or learn about when they're freaking 5 or 6 years old.
Exactly.
And it shouldn't even be political. And so navigating that has been a challenge.
It really
because it's subtly here and there in different in different TV shows, kids shows, and movies. And then all of a sudden there's that fine line of like, okay, do we address that or do we just hope they didn't notice? Or
Right, yeah.
are we overreacting? Is it a big deal? And, that's, the games you play as a parent now is just trying to navigate all these landmines that society has and hope that you're raising the best kid you can.
Well, you got to go back and watch those 90s movies that we watched as kids and be like, good God, my parents let me watch this.
See, my parents were strict. I mean, I didn't watch a lot of that stuff growing up. Like, we didn't have MTV. I couldn't watch The Simpsons. I couldn't even watch The Smurfs growing up.
What?
I'm serious, man. My mom and dad were really religious and very, very careful and selective about what we watched.
Were evil.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know.
They were always up to no good. He goes, I don't know. I didn't get to watch it.
Yeah, I didn't watch it. So, I definitely avoided a lot of that growing up.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't get to watch Beavis and Butthead until I was out of the house and I could go back and watch it. And then even then, it wasn't that cool anymore, right?
By that point, everybody had already seen it.
Yeah. So, it's interesting being a parent today, and especially in the cultural climate that we live in, where if something doesn't agree with your values, speaking out against it can really polarize and ostracize you with people and fans who are like, well, now I no longer like your song because that's how you feel about this issue. And I'm like, well, that's crazy talk, because if I didn't listen to artists or watch movies of actors that I don't identify 100% with politically, I'd be very bored.
You're looking at a blank screen a lot of times. Yeah.
I mean, yeah, it's
the way it is. Yeah. It's hard not to name names. Final question. What's the one goal on your list that you still haven't checked off?
Good question. From a venue perspective, it's playing Red Rocks, and I'm doing that this summer with Parker.
How nice is that?
It's kind of weird. We never got big enough to headline Red Rocks. Mm-hmm. I felt like we were really close.
I could
in
see
that 2012 to 2016 timeframe, 17. But it never happened. And then we got a couple support opportunities over the years that I didn't think made sense. If I was going to play my first time at Red Rocks, I wanted it to be with an artist that I'm friends with and fans with, and that our fans would dig.
Yeah, it's like a moment.
And I've just been very selective about it. And then all of a sudden the opportunity came for me to open for Parker. Mm-hmm. I'm playing first to three, which, in an ideal world, obviously I wish I was playing second, but the guy in the middle is Gary Allen.
Oh, come on.
who I love.
Yes.
And so I'm like, what would 20-something-year-old Josh say if
that cocky 20-year-old
Josh? Like, hey, do you want to open for, one of the biggest names in music that's your buddy and also Gary Allen? Like, I want to do that.
Absolutely.
So even though it was first to three, it was a no-brainer for me. And so I'm very appreciative to Parker and his management team, Enzo and all them, and our agent that we share for making all that work, because it's a connections thing. And I'm going to finally get to take that stage, and it'll be for 25 minutes, but I'm going to own that 25 minutes. And just live in that moment, because I've been waiting my whole career to play there.
That may be the toughest set list you ever come up with.
Yeah, I've thought about trying to combine songs to where we play half of several songs that blend in together, just so we can kind of get through enough songs that people want to hear, right? Maybe they don't need to hear all 3.5 minutes of a song. Maybe we can play like a minute and a half of it and then move to the next one.
Play the chorus.
So I wouldn't be surprised if we try something like that on that tour that we do.
What a scene that would be, though, to hear everybody singing "Oh Tonight" in Red Rocks.
Yeah.
Like, that's a moment.
It will be a moment. I think it'll be really cool. And what's really cool too is the fiddle player that we had for the first 12 years of our career was Preston Waite. Mm-hmm. He now plays for Parker. And so getting to make our debut there and him being there, and I think he's going to come out and hopefully play. I think so. I think he's going to come out and play twin fiddle with us on a song. It'll just feel really right.
That will. Yeah.
It'll feel cool.
Full circle.
Yeah.
Well, how about one more song, Josh Abbott?
Let's do it. I may need another cup of water. But, I would love to play you another song.
What are we going to hear?
I don't know yet. I mean, it just depends. Do I play another old song of ours?
Do you want to do something new?
I can totally do something
we haven't heard yet?
New. I've been writing recently, but I feel I know what I'm going to play. Hopefully that's tuned. I don't even have a tuner on me here. Doesn't sound tuned.
It's podcast tuned.
Yeah, well, we can cut all this out, right?
Right.
Or leave it. Let's see who sticks around. Let's see who the real ones are. I do. Is that okay?
Yeah, we can give her a minute.
The tide breaks and the wind blows into champagne. Yeah, the mountain's pretty, but it's prettier with you. The sun rises, the sun sets, every day's a little vignette. Watercolors paint the view of the rainbows passing through. The midnight stars, sweet memoirs, finding love that's true. Waves rolling in, 2 heartbeat here in the sand. The sun rises, the sun sets, every day's a little vignette. Watercolors paint the view of the rainbows passing through.
He called this morning my wife.
Midnight stars, sweet memoirs, finding love, it's true.
So he called while we were pulling into the park or the parking garage. And so she told her coworkers, and they were like, "Can he come over here?" It's like, no. They were all so excited. Okay. Thank you, Jennifer. Look at that little stand thing. That's cool.
Thank you for the water.
That's neat.
So, this is a little song I have that I wrote with Mr. Cleto Cordero from the Flatland Cavalry and Panhandlers.
Mm-hmm.
And the producer that we share, the guy that did the 2 songs we put out last fall and the several of our albums over the last 10 years, and he's done Flatland's last 2 albums, I think, now, and he's a good buddy of ours named Dwight Baker. So anyway, 3 of us got together one day and wrote, and we were actually kind of writing more for Flatland Cavalry's record, or Panhandlers. But as rights go, sometimes it goes a different way. And I had this verse and this chorus that I was obsessed with, and I just said, Cleto, I want you to help me finish it the same way you helped me finish I'm Your Only Flaw, which is a song I wrote about my wife, and then he helped me write it with Caitlin's inspiration. And then we flipped that years later when he had a song called Cactus Flower he had written most of, and then I helped him finish. We've always had such a good chemistry writing songs together. And so anyway, this is a song that I think I'll probably record in the next year, and this will be the first time, I guess, putting it out there to the universe.
All right.
It's called Prettier With You. And waves rolling in to our feet here in the sand. And the way it all blends, the orange into the blue. The wind slows and the tide breaks into champagne hue. Yeah, the ocean's pretty, but it's prettier with you. In western Montana, Rocky Mountain peaks, find your way up to the top and let your spirit breathe. Up where the elk graze and the wildflowers bloom. Yeah, the mountain's pretty, prettier with you. The sun rises, the sun sets, every day's a little vignette. Watercolors paint the view of the rainbows passing through. Midnight stars, sweet memoirs, finding love that's true. Yeah, the world is pretty. Oh my God, can I introduce that whole song and start over again?
Yeah.
Good Lord, I messed it up, and then I was just like super worried about it. What an idiot.
It's a new song.
What an idiot. Idiot.
There, go ahead.
All right, so here is a new song. So this will be the first time, I think, kind of putting it out there, which I think makes this cool, and we can share it together on our socials. But yeah, this is a song called Prettier With You, and I wrote this with my buddy Cleto Cordero from the Panhandlers and some band called Flatland Cavalry.
They're okay.
And then the guy that produces us both, his name's Dwight Baker. But we wrote this together, and I just love it to death, and I hope you do too. Waves rolling in to our feet here in the sand, and the way it all blends, the orange into the blue. The tide breaks and the wind slows into a champagne hue. Oh my God, I messed it up again. Fudge me.
How new is this song?
One more take and I'll get it right this time. That's our promise. The wind slows and the tide breaks. That's what it is. The wind slows and the tide breaks. Here we go. Do I need to intro it again?
No, you can
okay.
sing the song now.
Waves rolling in to our feet here in the sand. The way it all blends, the orange into the blue. The wind slows and the tide breaks into a champagne hue. Yeah, the ocean's pretty, but it's prettier with you. Western Montana, Rocky Mountain peaks. Find your way up to the top and let your spirit breathe. Up where the elk graze and the wildflowers bloom. Yeah, the mountain's pretty, but it's prettier with you. The sun rises, the sun sets, every day's a little vignette. Watercolors paint the view of the rainbows passing through. Midnight stars, sweet memoirs, finding love that's true. Yeah, the world is pretty, but it's prettier with you. Dusty box of good times under a love seat. Postcards and Polaroids of fading memories. Flip through the years, no blind spots in our rear view. Yeah, life's been pretty, prettier with you. The sun rises, the sun sets, every day's a little vignette. Watercolors paint the view of the rainbows passing through. Midnight stars, sweet memoirs, finding love that's true. Yeah, the world is pretty, but it's prettier with you. Yeah, life's been pretty, prettier with you.
Very nice, man. It's got like a John Prine feel to it as well. I like that.
It's a little different, you know, and I think that simple style is kind of what I'm looking for on our future records. So I'm excited to go record something that makes people, you know, kind of notice us in a new way.
Just have fun again.
Yeah.
That's what it's all about.
Just let the song speak for itself and not try to have too many instruments and layers on it.
I'm looking forward to hearing what you guys put out. Josh, thank you so much for chatting with us today.
Dude, thank you. And
always a pleasure.
And I'd be remiss if I didn't mention the Billy Bob show coming up.
Yes.
I feel like
February 28th, part of the Fort Worth Music Festival.
This podcast will age forever. And that part won't be relevant.
Right.
But anybody that hears this in the next 2 weeks, it will be very relevant.
Yes,
We're
it will.
at Billy Bob's in Fort Worth on February 28th.
You know how many times you played Billy Bob's now? Any guess?
I think if you include Panhandlers, I have probably played Billy Bob's 22, 23 times.
Wow,
that would be my guess.
That's awesome.
Because I think we played it the first time ever in 2008 on the small stage. And then we started playing the large stage 2009. and we played it twice that year, and then we played it in 2010, and then we started playing every year at the same time in January for years, and then we got so popular we started doing 2 nights.
Mm-hmm.
We did that for a while. And then we've played there with Panhandlers, and it's a huge part of what we've done. And
absolutely,
I always love playing Billy Bob's. It never gets old.
That's awesome, man. Awesome. February 28th, Josh Abbott Band at Billy Bob's. Josh, thank you, buddy, for chatting.
Love
with
the
us.
ranch. Always have. You guys are the goats.
That's what we try to be, man.
Yep.
Hurry and send us that new music.
Okay.
Thanks, buddy.
Thanks.